The year as of this watching is 2017. The internet is full of untold horrors and also information. 100 years of automotive production lies rotting in junkyards, and if you don't see how these ideas are related, then you're about to, because it's time to get real.
It's a car show. He's saying it's a car show.
It's a car show. We're here in beautiful Sun Valley, looking for Mustang parts, and I think it's about time to get going. Onward, Michael. Onward.
I'm Corbin Goodwin, he's Michael Elterman. Between us, we've owned and modified numerous cars. In that time, we've learned that it's often more fun to drive something that you created than it is to cruise showroom stock. Now, anyone can buy a fast car, but we'd rather build one. Also, we can't afford anything new. Our mission is simple: buy a forgotten bucket of slow and use a combination of junkyard parts, ingenuity, and wild bravery to make it as fast as a modern sporting car. And if Michael can do it, you can do it too.
Hold up. Man, too many fingers. Too few fingers. Wrong fingers. Okay, there we go.
Mike.
Yes.
There's something I have to tell you. The Nissan Cross Cabrio was a mistake. So are you.
What?
Why choose an SVO? We're convinced that despite 30 years of engineering progress, our geriatric turbo Mustang can take the fight to the new hotness and do it for only 1/10 of the price. Our budget for the car and parts is only $4,000, so we'll be scavenging the automotive carcasses at our local pick and pull. Anything we can't find there, we'll buy online. On the drive home, we noticed an issue.
Literally just put gas in the car.
When we got in, inspection found another leak.
Hey, Michael. I don't mean to dash your hopes and dreams. I thought it was good.
We had to rebuild the turbo, so after I pulled it out and while I was summoning the motivation, we went to the junkyard looking for spindles and oil coolers, and whatever else we could find.
Sometimes when you're at the junkyard, the steering wheel lock is on, but you don't have the key. But there's a simple solution to that.
The legends say that the original inhabitants of the junkyard used all of the Volvo when they killed it.
Not all of us are Michael, okay? Not all of us can.
Deadlift, not a lot of weight.
Not all of us lift, okay? Watch as Michael gently finesses the tie rod out of its socket.
You want to be careful with these. They're not
Yeah.
damaged. Threads on the top.
Wow. Gosh, that was it was like watching ballet, you know? Still locked. Your methods are not working, my friend.
We left with spindles from a 94 GT that we needed for our brake upgrade, wheel spacers in case we wanted to widen the track, and 2 oil coolers off old Volvo turbos. Junkyard parts are as certain to work as Donnie Wahlberg, so if you can find 2, grab them. These parts would let us get started on turning our leaking SVO into the stuff dreams are made of.
Now it's time for the initial shakedown.
I mean, Michael, do you really think this can beat an EcoBoost?
Standards are set pretty low the way the car is, but I do have faith that the aftermarket can seriously improve this car.
Let's see what happens when we try to dig into the turbo a little bit. Ah, it boosts! What's up, Mike?
And mystery smoke. I don't know if anyone can see that on the camera, but
Delicious. There's some other really trick SVO mods as well, such as the steering rack, which is designed specially for this car by TRW. They changed the valving and they changed the resistance in the rack. It's kind of slow, but it feels nice and direct. This motor was only rated at 175 horses for this year, but with only a few tweaks, the next year's they're rated at 205, and I read somewhere online that they're good to about 450 horses on the stock rods. We're not gonna get there, but let's hope that's true. All in all, for being a piece of it's not too bad. Uh-oh.
oh, we're cutting up.
That was weird.
Is there smoke in your eyes now?
There's sun in my eyes. There's hope in my eyes. Hope for a faster Mustang.
Testing the colorful beast was like unprotected sex with a really tired partner. It was only as good as I could make it, and I could never really shake the sense of danger. This was mostly due to decrepit tires and a general tin can feeling. Additionally, the brakes felt wooden, the gears needed managing to keep it steamy, and I knew it only felt fast because there was almost no exhaust pipe on the car. On the weird side, the throttle pedal had like 3 feet of travel and it sometimes smoked like a chimney. On the bright side, the chassis responded quickly. The bones were old, but she'd been drinking her milk.
We came up with this four-point plan. First off is the engine. In order of longest words to shortest words, we have the fuel system to support the massive horsepower we're making. We need exhaust so that the turbo can actually breathe. And we got to crank up the boost because this motor was built in the 80s and it's like a tractor engine.
So ideally, the rear end needs to be modified. We could try to get some kind of fancy gear type differential, but we don't have the budget for that. So we'll probably have to source something from the junkyard, and then we'll probably end up the same way with the gear ratios, where it'd be nice to buy a new one, can't afford it. So we'll probably go crazy with a 327 gear ratio, and then some kind of drugs will be involved. I'm not sure on that yet.
Moving on to suspension, where we're clearly going to win the game. We have control arms, and the car actually already has poly bushing control arms in the rear, which means the previous owner was an idiot because poly bushings cause a lot of bind, and when you have bind, you have high spring rates, and when you try to roll, the rear end goes out, and you lose and embarrass yourself trying to race an EcoBoost Mustang, and I hate when that happens personally. And we have dampers, and this is where we're in luck actually, because the SVO Mustang actually came with conies, which are rebuildable.
Now brakes, we need to stop with all this extra boost we're doing. Easiest bolt-ons probably to get some 03 Cobra, 04 Cobra calipers, and then source some kind of good compound for the pad, some kind of aggressive racing pad.
Are we going to talk about number 5?
We don't talk about
We
number
don't.
5.
That's the plan.
We still needed a lot of parts, but we needed to keep an eye on the budget. The diff would be the most expensive, so before we went online shopping, we took one more trip to the junkyard in search of the elusive Ford 8.8. The junkyard giveth much more than you might think. Speed parts don't have to come from the same make of car or type of vehicle. Some parts we couldn't just find, like Cobra brakes, whereas others, like the injectors, weren't really cheap enough to risk buying used over new. Like a lonely man in a time of need, we went to the internet.
We're back from the junkyard, and unsurprisingly, a good amount of the parts are unable to be sourced. We resorted to the internet for such things. Calipers, the rotors, ball joints, pads, intercooler, boost control, upper control arms, spherical bushings.
There's stuff that you don't really want to get used. What are you going to do? Use someone's old clutches that they've probably done 300 burnouts on and are already toast? Not going to happen. So here we are with our magical list of parts, and we're going to have to source them now, which is the fun part. By fun, I mean we're going to be here for hours staring at things.
On Corbin's 600-tab laptop.
Whoa, hey. I need
Every
these.
tab has a place, I
I
understand.
need these tabs. Here we go. For the brake calipers, all the brake parts, it's awesome. You can just buy them from Rock Auto. So here we are in Rock Auto.
They take the castings from the manufacturer.
Let's check spherical.
All right, Michael, here we are. Page number 1, the rear end. I see we've written some really helpful things in various colors. What do we need to know?
Well, this is the size of our current axle, which is about as fragile as an elderly person or Corbin self-confidence. And this is the one that we're upgrading to. This number refers to the size of the diameter of the ring gear inside of it, which when it's bigger, it has less stress and is stronger.
Now, there's a few different types of LSDs. This one sucks. Looking at you, Factory 370Z.
This one's kind of that, so we can't do that.
And this one comes in the LSD we already have, and is tunable and rebuildable, so we're gonna go with that. This is for drag racers. That's not real racing. Here's the kind of rear ends you can set up with respect to various links. Here's the one we have. They come out like this, like antennae. It's weird, it's not right. So Michael, what option does that leave us with?
Make the best of what we have.
Darn right! So we're gonna take this arm and ensure that when it's like doing this, see, you can't dance like this. This is what it is. You try to dance, it's wrong. It feels weird.
I feel weird.
You're never gonna get laid like this. So we're gonna optimize this by putting spherical bushings inside, which is gonna allow it to move up and down and still do its job of locating the axle. Yay! Now we're gonna talk about engine mods. Mike, what's your major?
Finance.
Mine's engineering.
I don't know anything about this.
You want? I'll take this one. All right. We want our horsepower to go up. We can't change our displacement because that costs money. You can see that right there. We really can't change our RPM because things are going to blow up if we try to spin the engine faster. That's our brake-specific fuel consumption. That's going to stay around 0.6 for a turbo motor. But we can change volumetric efficiency, which is basically
how much air we're getting through the engine. Without going into camshaft, cylinder head porting, etc., we're not gonna really be able to shove a lot more air through easily. But if we compress the air more by turning up the boost, that is more air. Horsepower will go up. I guarantee it. Now, if our pressure goes up, our temperature goes up. Here's a quick equation governing how much heat we're removing with our intercooler. Now, if we're turning up the boost, we're adding a lot more heat. We need to get the heat out of there. Otherwise, it's not gonna help us too much because it's just gonna detonate and the engine's gonna blow up.
Hey guys, Mike here. Corbin thinks I'm an idiot, but I'm not. I'm here to help out. What he's saying is that as something cools down, it takes longer to cool further. And during the boost, heat is being added not only by the compression, but because of the compressor itself. Oh wait, he's speaking English again.
This H is also decreasing, you're getting less efficient. Same thing applies if your intercooler is very thick. The front of the intercooler is doing a lot of good work, it's removing a lot of heat. Back of the intercooler on your awesome 5-inch street racing core, sick, dude. It's not doing anything. It's not doing anything at all. So our long-ass awesome intercooler, Michael, show them, is going to spend a lot more time removing, wait, no, hold it up, it's beautiful. It's gonna spend a lot more time removing heat. It's gonna start very hot, and if there's extra heat in there versus what we normally have, it's gonna be very cold by the time it gets to that end. Beautiful. All right, here it is. Braking performance. This is important. Michael, real quick, what are our options?
Well, we have the normal base models, or when they improved the braking performance and made it bigger. So we're gonna go with one of these two options.
And we're gonna go with one of these two options because it's bigger, and because it's bigger, our delta T, which is the amount of temperature we're putting into our brake system, is going to...
Hey guys, he's doing it again. The bigger the brakes are, the cooler they stay. And we all know that every inch
What
counts.
speed we're stopping from, it's gonna always be about the same. Our C sub TH, which are thermal mass, is going up. That's based on the mass of your system and your specific heat of the system. That's a constant. More mass, higher this, lower delta temperature. We're moving on now to our miscellaneous mods. What do we have on here, Michael?
Well, we have TR, which I believe means Tyrannosaurus Rex.
That's torsional rigidity is what that is. And we're gonna change it from wet noodle to dry pasta. That's a technical term. But how are we gonna do it, Michael?
Ford created a unibody where there's no frame really in between the cars, so we need to connect them with maybe something like a subframe connector.
Possibly from Maximum Motorsports. Ka-ching! Dampers. We are going to rebuild them. This car came with conies. It has conies on it right now. Are they the factory dampers? I don't know. Was that girl last night in the hotel my girlfriend? I don't know. All right, our last task, crush the EcoBoost.
There was no girl last night.
Crush the EcoBoost.
We were looking good. We found a bunch of useful parts at the yards, and the rest were in the mail. It was time to do what we do mediumist. Build the car and race the EcoBoost. But you'll have to wait till next week to see that.
Can't open the salsa. So weak you can't open a salsa. Oh yeah? I can open the you, Mike! I can open the salsa! Okay, well, smart people do things with their brains. Smart monkey uses the tools. I'm the baboon around here. I'm gonna be in the forest with the sticks real soon, Mike. Real soon.